Hey y'all, welcome to Reflecting Divinity. My name's Jamie. I'm an intuitive reader, and today's pick a card tarot and oracle message is from the ancestors. And in the past, I have usually used the Halloween readings to do some shadow work and revealing what needs to be healed. And this year, Spirit gave me the message that the Samhain reading was to be about what gifts are coming in for you, what blessings are coming to you. And instead, the ancestors had their own messages around the concept of healing generational or ancestral trauma. So I am here today with messages from the ancestors about this healing that they are asking for you to take on as your own. And something that Spirit was saying to me was that the trauma, the wounds of the past of your ancestors may not actually be how it's showing up for you in like a one-to-one equivalent. So just know that even though it may not be showing up how it happened to the ancestors or the generations before you, it can be showing up for you in a different way and affecting you in a different way. And for some of you, it may be subtle. It may just be barely there, but there's a closing out of this pattern that the ancestors need, and you have the ability and the power and the awareness to really give it the attention it needs. And there is an aspect of just acknowledging what needs to be healed, what needs to be brought to the light, that is healing all on its own. So we now really, as a collective, are coming into a time and place with our consciousness, with our awareness, that we can more easily see the bigger picture and understand how everything and everyone, we're all connected, and we can make great changes by utilizing that connection for good. And so this is the premise of this pick a card reading. For reading number 1, we have Sugar Maple, Versatility. Although my leaves are green in spring, they have changed color dramatically by the time they drop in autumn. I can show you how to introduce similar versatility into your own life to make you stand out as a unique individual. And Sugar Maple is in the category of leaf wisdom. And for pile 2, we have Montezuma, Cypress, Solidity. I grow at the meeting point between the land and the water, and I teach you that you need a balance between the material and spiritual worlds to survive. I am solid and strong, and I can give you that same sense of solidity. And Montezuma Cypress is the energy of roots, being. And for pile 3, we have Eucalyptus, balance. I am an ancient tree, but I have survived by adapting to my environment. I can show you how to live wisely and honestly by establishing balance in your life and in your attitude to the people around you. And eucalyptus is also leaf wisdom. So go ahead, take your time to tap into these 3 tree energies to see which one is holding the messages from your ancestors. And when you are ready, you can go to the timestamp in the description below, and I will see you there. Hi, reading 1, welcome. If you chose Sugar Maple, this is your reading. So, Sugar Maple, versatility, adaptability. This is going to be a key aspect of the ancestral healing that is needed. And I'm shuffling some tarot cards to get a couple of cards to get some clarity and context. So we have the 9 of Swords, mental conflict. And we have the 9 of Cups, good fortune. Okay, so you have 2 9s. And that's important to recognize because 9, with it obviously being just before 10, it's towards the end of the cycle. And so you've already been through a lot, and I feel like your ancestors are saying, we have been through a lot, and there's this kind of a push and pull tug of war between the 9 of Swords and the mental conflict and the 9 of Cups with the good fortune. And it's almost like, especially with a Sugar Maple, and that change, instead of embracing the flow from the green spring leaf to the dried but colorful autumn leaves, there's a resistance somewhere. I think for some of you, what the ancestors are saying is there was a loss of good fortune. There was a loss of abundance of some sort, of happiness that was replaced with mental conflict, and that this kind of pendulum swing back and forth has been a pattern for you in some way. For the ancestors, for the generations, it's been this kind of rough swinging back and forth rather than a flow. And when there's times of abundance, maybe it's taken for granted, or the thinking can come in and start to become negative, like, well, I have all this now, but what if I lose it? What if something bad happens? And so that's where there's this conflict. And so your ancestors are calling out for healing around this, because if you are struggling to move into the 9 of Cups energy, into that good fortune and abundance and ease and joy, then it allows that, it kind of opens up that space for the mental anguish and conflict. And the message I'm getting is that sometimes the bad things that happen, or what we deem bad, but maybe they're just perceived that way, but when things maybe recede in a way, instead of seeing it as just a season, it's like an overreaction of your nervous system, of your thoughts in response. And it becomes this kind of massive rift in your flow. It's like it can easily consume you. And this feels like, this is what the ancestors are saying is a pattern for them as well. And they're saying, you are more versatile and adaptable, and you have resources here that you are able to tap into, and you are able to transmute and transform in ways that they didn't necessarily have access to. And so I pulled you a dark mirror card. And this is this me? And I think that's quite on point for you, because this isn't you. This is a pattern from the ancestors where it kind of became this reaction that was passed down. It was inherited, but it just isn't helpful anymore, because there's more now for you to access. What I'm hearing is like your spiritual integrity. Like you have more of a connection and trust in your higher self and spirit. And so it's just not helpful to kind of swing on that pendulum anymore. So it's not really you. And so I'm wondering if you are able to tap into that and see, when you feel that feeling of mental conflict come up in the face of good fortune or the loss of some good fortune, are you able to see that it isn't you, that you are actually this very powerful being that is not only versatile and adaptable, you're like a shapeshifter, that you can move from a place of that autumn, winter energy into a place of growth and abundance and harvest. You can be at home in either of these energies, just knowing that it's a natural ebb and flow, and that lack is not forever. It is just a part of the cycle for rest, for rejuvenation and restoration of the energies. It's a time to breathe, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so we have Water Guardian, connect with your emotions. And we have High Priestess, harness mystic power. Yeah, so this is where it's coming in, and it's interesting to kind of see that these are all very divine feminine energies. And so to embrace that aspect in healing this, in holding space for this, because part of this natural ebb and flow is that you cannot force it. You cannot define or control it. It's more of a surrendering and allowing, and in giving it that space, it will move through. It will pass, and you can still stand your ground and harness your power. And again, you have that deeper connection to spirit, to your own higher power. You realize that you are a soul living a human experience. And this is where you're being called to just check in with your reactions to your environment, to the relationships around you. And when you notice yourself having that strong reaction to a trigger, if you're feeling that you are triggered by something, it's more of like a pondering, a questioning that can come in of, is this me? Or why am I reacting to this external trigger in this way? And there could be an emotional connection there. And again, I'm kind of reiterating the ebb and flow, but like tides coming in, tides coming out, the cleansing power of water, connecting with water energy, and with the 9 of Cups, bringing in more positive or neutral feelings and thoughts, and really filling yourself up and washing away the old patterns. This is really what's going to start to clear out this residual ancestral trauma response. It's like what I'm seeing, sand kind of covering a surface, and it's uncomfortable. It feels dry, but it's just a layer of sand. It's that residual energy, and it needs to be washed off. It needs to be shaken off. It isn't helpful anymore, right? It's like when you're at the beach, the sand is actually quite enjoyable, walking in the sand, and it can be exfoliating. It can be fun to play with and build with. But once you get home, you're like, why is this sand everywhere? It's uncomfortable. It's messy. And so that's what the ancestors are saying is now you gotta clear out and wash away that grit, because now it's becoming a problem. So I have a couple more cards here. We have, you are safe here, and my light attracts light. Yeah, so it's interesting. We have a lot of purple and blues here. So again, this is telling me that this is more of a spiritual working for you, Pile 1. It is in connection with your crown and your third eye. It's a perspective, understanding shift. It's recognizing and knowing. And it's about integrating your spiritual insights in a way that what I'm hearing is brings awareness to your ancestors. And so what the ancestors are kind of telling me, what I'm feeling, is that this is actually fairly simple. It's not a complex or complicated working that you have to do. It's not grueling. It's really a shifting into your power and remembering your abilities and power spiritually, energetically, really in all the ways, Pile 1, that you aren't in this place of lack or attack. I'm hearing attack with the Nine of Swords, the energy of kind of being unfairly plagued by others' negativity, and there's like this energy of interrupting your flow, and you're stronger than this. You are more than this, and by tapping into that energy of water and flow and a questioning of, is this actually me? Is this relevant to me? And doing this more often, making it be the pattern rather than the reaction being the pattern. This will allow you to free yourself up in more ways, is what I'm feeling. Being able to take action and expand, explore into new realms is the word that's coming up. And yeah, your ancestors are here for it. It's like I can see them in the distance waiting for you. And so I almost feel like you may be drawn to have astral experiences with your ancestors in your dreams. So it's shifting the energy of like nightmares from the Nine of Swords into wishes coming true, right? With the Nine of Cups. And that when you embody the light, when you clear out stagnant water, you allow for fresh things to grow. You allow for clarity and ease. So this is what Spirit is helping you to see as far as your ancestral healing. So we have the final message. We have find your center. Your outside world is a reflection and a manifestation of what's going on inside you at this time. When the outside world becomes so hectic and stressful that your anxiety starts to overwhelm you, then this is an ideal moment to stop and ask, when was the last time I checked in with myself? Yeah, pile one. Yeah, that's the question. Is this me? What's going on here? And that's what your ancestors are asking for. It feels like they didn't have the time or energy when they lived, when they had their human experiences. They may not have been allowed to check in with their own energies, with their own being. They didn't maybe have the privilege of being able to do so. And now this is available to you, and in you tapping in and questioning and regaining your footing, your grounding, standing your ground, balancing yourself so that, like when you're balanced and stable, the waves can come in, but you won't be knocked down. You'll just shift and then go with the flow, right? It's not about fighting. It's about surrendering, but also standing your ground. And so what I'm feeling is this mental conflict, this anxiety, this kind of pendulum back and forth swinging isn't you. And you can call in your ancestors when you notice this happening. And together you can set the intention to release this, to heal this pattern and replace it with empowerment and clarity, whatever feels right to you, pile one, because you are no longer meant to be living in a state of fear and the negative what ifs. I hope this was helpful for you in some way. I thank you so much for being here. If you liked this, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, including these pick-a-cards and spiritual sharings, then hit that subscribe button. I wish you all the best. I give you my love. Until next time, bye, Pile One. Hello, reading 2. Welcome. If you chose Montezuma Cypress, Solidity, then this is your reading. So I'm going to go ahead and get some clarity and context about where the ancestors are coming from in regards to this healing. So first we have 4 of Wands. We have happy occasions. I'm seeing ceremonies like weddings, seeing baptisms, things like that. Very much momentous family occasions. And there is the energy with the 4 of Wands as well of solid ground and firm, supportive foundations. Okay, so we have the High Priestess empowerment. Okay, so the ancestors are wanting you to step into your own power and self-trust. And maybe for some of you, this is happening or will happen soon. Because with that happy occasion and these momentous times of recognizing, of initiation, is what I'm hearing. It's you taking a step into your own power and becoming a part of something bigger. And I do feel this is spiritual. It is mystical and magical. Perhaps you are finding a community to step into your own power with. And I do feel like there is an importance here with other people. And I feel like your ancestors are actually applauding you. I feel like you have recognized and been working at this already, pile 2. And I feel like for some of you, you didn't realize what you were doing at first. That by looking into magic and this more expansive concept of spirituality and magical practices, that you weren't thinking it was for ancestral healing, but you have inadvertently healed a lot of ancestral trauma and wounds around celebrating your own power and being seen. All right, yeah, so I had pulled you a dark mirror to kind of see where this shadow or this wound is for your ancestors, and so calling the storm. Yeah, very much you are learning of your own power, right? I see you as the high priestess, that you are calling in the energies around you now to be empowered, be strong in your magic, that you are realizing that the only thing that was actually in your way was you. It was just like a limited way of thinking and believing in yourself. And so your ancestors are so happy. They are celebrating with you in this initiation into your new self, into your new life, that you have recognized that you are more powerful, that you do have the abilities and gifts and talents that you thought only other people had, or that other people had to bestow it upon you, is what I'm feeling. It feels like everything was within you all along. You just didn't recognize it. And so now you do. It's like now you fully see yourself. And this was a pattern for ancestors kind of giving away their own power. Feeling like maybe there was a pattern of people pleasing and kind of subordination that was harming the self. The giving up of your own power, your own integrity, your own voice. And so let's see, we have autumn, release the old and rest. Yeah, that's absolutely on point. And we have water guardian, connect with your emotions. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of water cleansing energy that's coming in, and with Montezuma, Cypress, being on that border of land and water, you can use the elements to build yourself up. And I'm hearing for some of you, you actually need to drink more water. You will feel better and be able to be more potent in your own power. And you have been doing a lot. So there is that call to rest and disconnect sometimes. So another important part of this message that the ancestors are highlighting for me is that there could still be a tendency to not call back your power, to call back your energy. And they're relating it to that pattern of giving away their power to others. And even though you have stepped into your own power and have started utilizing it, not just recognizing it, but you're like utilizing it and putting it to work around you. But they're saying to remember to call it back to you, to keep it safe, to nurture yourself in this way, to allow it to rest because you're doing so much. They want to recognize that you need time to release yourself of all the energy, anything that isn't you, call back your own, and like with Water Guardian, to really utilize showers, baths, even intentionally washing your hands and acknowledging that you are releasing anything that isn't you will be greatly beneficial to you. And again, with the crow in autumn, release the old and rest, this is reaffirming your intuition, the power of your intuition and your spiritual sight is what I'm hearing. Your vision, your ability to envision and invoke the energy that you want. And yeah, so you have, I am a light in the world. You absolutely are. And as you step into this solidly, you are standing between the two worlds, right? You are that Montezuma Cypress. You are a medium, potentially. Maybe you're a psychic medium, or you are helping others who are going through transitions in their life because you've been through a major transition. Potentially you're a doula. Maybe you're a birth doula or a death doula. But there's something here about you being able to straddle that line between both existences. It takes so much of your energy to do what you do, and it is very much needed. And it's doing this in a powerful way rather than a disempowered way. And that's all the ancestors are wanting, is for this to be a source of power, empowerment for you, a source of strength. Okay, we have shift your perspective. Yeah, so I was seeing for you that it was having to do with your ability to envision. A key part of that is your perspective and what beliefs you are bringing to the table. And it's like they're showing me how maybe there's a table for plans, like an architect's plans, and it's not helpful to bring to that table schematics for a vehicle. So it's a need for you to recognize what actually is helpful to you and what's not. And just opening your eyes to that is like the major key to shifting and clearing the way. I'm feeling for you the shift your perspective is connected to the connect with your emotions card. So there could be emotions that come up that are not related to your plans. And so your ancestors are saying that's a clue that there's an ancestral pattern that isn't really relevant to you anymore. And it's time to notice that and release that, to use your intuition your third eye to spot that and the connection to your ancestors and release it because it's old, it's not needed anymore. So let's look at your final message from the ancestors. Okay, and we have Animal Kingdom. Animals of all types are extraordinary creatures and miraculous gifts to us. They've been our spiritual companions since the dawn of time. At this moment, they have lessons to share with you that will open your heart and soul. Yeah, okay, so that's kind of perfect for you, pile 2, because like the Montezuma Cypress is straddling that line between the material world and the spiritual, animals are very much doing the same. They are aware of the other side in ways that we aren't, and they are just naturally. They are able to walk that line of the veil, and nature very much is material, but it also is highly spiritual and very much in tune with the essence of what makes up our reality, that it is conscious and alive, and there's synchrony in nature. And so in your practice, in your spiritual practice, you are being called to recognize the power of animals and how they may be showing up for you. You have several references to animals here, pile 2, with the High Priestess. I believe this is Freya in the Nordic Tarot. And so we have the feline energy. We have, I believe that is a crow or raven. And then we have another crow or raven. So there's messages coming from your ancestors, from spirit, through the animals around you. Maybe they're showing up in your physical reality. Maybe it's showing up in other ways, in signs like billboards you pass, or what someone says and you just happen to overhear part of a conversation or something. And spirit will bring through messages in that way. In particular, the energy of animals. And I do feel that your ancestors are pointing out your nature, your roots, ancestrally, spiritually, being connected very much to the animal kingdom, to nature, to Gaia, to the earth and her wisdom. And so again, utilizing this connection in your practice will be very beneficial and healing for you. And I almost see you like out in nature, touching the earth, grounding with the earth, using the elements and like found leaves and twigs and like creating and just being with nature that will be very healing for your ancestors and yourself. So I hope this was helpful for you in some way. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this reading, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, including pick-a cards and spiritual sharings, then please hit that subscribe button. I wish you all the best. I give you my love. But until next time, bye, Pile 2. Hi, Pile 3. If you chose Eucalyptus, this is your reading. So with Eucalyptus bringing in the wisdom of balance, I am going to pull a couple tarot cards to give some clarity and context around what the ancestors are asking to be healed. So, okay, so we have the Seven of Pentacles, we have faith. The sense I'm getting with the Seven of Pentacles is that there has been a lot of hard work, a lot of labor to get to a point, and so there's a striving to see an outcome. And it's about finding balance in that striving, in that yearning, so that it's from a place of faith and not fear. Pile 3. And you also have the Star. You have wishes. So this is where the healing is coming in. There's something here about teaching and lessons and a sense of a guide in some way. And it's that for some of you, the ancestors had a wavering faith. What I'm seeing and hearing is it was rocky, and I'm imagining the ground being tilled for planting and it being full of rocks. And there's really a sense from the ancestors of working hard and being disappointed. And so I feel like this is where they're really asking for your ability to see the light at the end of the tunnel, to remain level-headed, level-hearted, right? You can be balanced in your mind, in your emotions. You're able to hold that line between fear and faith. Spirit isn't asking for perfection, but they're asking for a solid enough relationship between you and Spirit that you can trust Spirit enough that even when you have some doubt come up, you know you can call upon Spirit to talk it out. There's a more intimate relationship here. And I'm also feeling like maybe there's an ancestral history of depression and grief and sadness that hasn't been processed and worked through, and you are doing that in some way. Pile 3, you're able to see hope, and this gives you that faith that things will work out, that things will bloom. And Spirit again is saying it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just a little goes a long way. And that's what the ancestors are needing at this time. Yeah, so your shadow card from the Dark Miracle, or Dark Miracle. That could be important for you. Pile 3 from the Dark Mirror Oracle is perchance to dream, to wish upon a star, to wish and pray for a miracle. So your ancestors, it feels like they weren't able to dream. They weren't able to achieve, they weren't able to even have dreams. And there is a sadness that they are asking to be acknowledged and released. I kind of feel like there needs to be a funeral for the dreams and wishes that were not able to be spoken, that were not able to be even seen, acknowledged. And that it's time to let go of the sadness and actually make room for the dreams. I'm almost seeing like instead of a funeral for the dreams, it's more like a funeral for the sadness and the grief. It's time to allow that grieving to move into a cycle of growth and faith. So we have White Witch, be the light. We have Trader, exchange energy to create abundance. Yeah, it's time for you in your connection and wisdom as a spiritual healer, as a witch, to start asking for miracles. And as you start to have faith and give your energy and set your intentions with the universe, I'm seeing that with Trader, it will come back to you. That there is an exchange of energy that is needed. It's like it's initiated by you, pile 3. And so you're doing what your ancestors weren't able to do. So by taking that step toward your dreams and creating, I feel like some of you maybe are starting a business, or that you have a dream for a certain product or something that you can share with the world, and your ancestors are supporting you in doing this. And it just takes a little bit of a risk, a commitment, right? And kind of putting yourself out there, putting your ideas out there, to allow it for the universe to respond. It's like in doing that, you are giving permission to the universe to bring miracles into your life. And it's an invitation. So we have my breath connects me to life. I'm feeling that there's a connection to breath. There's a connection to your voice. And so maybe for some of you, this is more about sharing your voice. And I was getting teaching and guiding, and I feel like maybe that's for you to share your voice in that way and sharing your knowledge. I feel like even for some of you, this energetic exchange could be found in community, in friendship, in relationship with other people or another person, where you're able to verbally express and share in some way. So we have your sensitivity is a gift. Yeah, okay, so this kind of makes sense then. Sharing your voice, putting yourself out there, not only takes some faith, but it takes courage. And for some of you, it feels like by having dreams and sharing them with the world, it feels vulnerable, it feels scary. But Spirit's showing me is like you're so much more resilient and potent and powerful, that you are able to open yourself up in a way that, yes, you are highly sensitive, but you are also incredibly strong, pile 3. And that in moments where it becomes overwhelming, remembering to breathe will do wonders for you. So having a practice of doing like the 4-7-8 breathing cycle, breathing in peace, love, whatever works for you, and breathing out, releasing, exhaling stress, tension, worry, fear, anything like that will help you in these situations as you start to share your voice and your gifts and your ideas, your wishes. But I do feel like some of you in particular are going to find a person to assist you and partner with you in this. Okay, so this is the final message, and it is ancestral wisdom. We are your ancestors, and we love you. We walked the earth many years before you. We ask you at this poignant time to learn and grow from our past experiences. You are our legacy, and we will keep on helping you as we continue to evolve here in the spirit world. yes, that's, this whole idea for the reading in a nutshell is that connection between you and your ancestors, and that not only are you learning, you are going to be teaching. You're going to be sharing in some way, pile 3. You are growing beyond the field, is what I'm seeing. Like with the 7 of Pentacles, you are going to be taking off, growing so rapidly and abundantly that you're going to be crossing lines and expanding outside of what you even thought you could do. And it's something your ancestors really couldn't even dream of. They couldn't even imagine it. And everything, what I'm hearing, is lining up for you for this to occur. That this is the lifetime. This is the perfect place and time for these elements to come together. It's like all of the bullet points of a lesson, of a teaching, has come together for you in your life. And now you are, I'm hearing the word extrapolating. You are taking all of that knowledge, the past experiences from your life, from your ancestors, from the generations before you. You're taking all of that and building upon it. You are using it as the soil, as the fertilizer to grow and actually seed beyond. And that's where it's coming in, that you're a guide and a teacher for others, because you are sharing that. You're helping to plant seeds in other people for their own growth and development and healing. And so this is your power, pile 3. You are so potent. And truly, the word miracle is what is embodied here in the healing that you will not only initiate, but you will receive. So I hope this reading was helpful for you in some way. I thank you so much for being here. If you liked this reading, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me in the future, then hit that subscribe button. But I wish you all the best. I give you my love. Until next time, bye, pile 3.